Hello everyone, welcome to episode 31 of the Counting Stitches podcast. My name is Bianca, and I will talk about yarny stuff, knitting, crochet, spinning, I'm looking there because it's standing there, and anything else that might come up. Sometimes we talk about crafting, so you can find me on Ravelry as Bianca SCH, and on Instagram as Jeopardize with an H after the J. And that's about it, I think. So yeah, what are we gonna do? It is first Monday of November, so make that go me. I have some finished objects. I have a lot of new cast-ons. I have one project that came back out of hibernation, and some new yarn actually. Fish tank behind me looks yellow, is not yellow. It's because of the bright red wool behind it, and there's a piece of wood in there that also kind of browns the water. I do need to do some maintenance, as you can see on the plants, but yeah, I fought my mom's cat, so it can wait. I try not to stick my hands in as too much, because then things will die. And there are things in there, I promise. You can see them, but there aren't. And the person I got it from has some albinos in there, and with a bright red wall behind it, you can't see them. I'm also still picking out medicine from between my teeth, which is fun. So yeah, I'm all over the place already, which is a good sign. Let's get started. Finish objects? Yeah, let's do finish objects. So we're starting with this. I've had this pattern for ages. I can't quite remember by whom it is. I will add that in the link in the description down below. So it's a crochet hat. There you go. It's on my mannequin backwards, which is fine because who will notice, right? But me. There you go. The man gets exercise, and this is a man, I promise you. Why is it on a man? Because he was available. Easiest way, right? So yeah, I do need to fasten this a little bit further because it's wiggly. But yeah, it's a whimsical hat, crochet hat. I bought this pattern, well, when I first started crocheting, actually. It's way back on my Ravelry with purchases, so yeah. Finally felt like, well, this is the time to make it. There we go. With a little swirl up top. Some acorn. I just need to. I haven't steam blocked this, so I will at some point. But yeah, nice hat. Not the most fun project for me, because yeah, I love the hat. I did not enjoy the process because it requires a 6mm hook. And I do not enjoy those. Anything that goes above 5 makes my hands hurt, and yeah, I'd rather not. It's just an opinion, right? I'd rather not. It's with hooks and needles, so it goes both ways. If I make something with anything larger than a 5 for you, I love you. Point blank, because it's just a thing. I can see my cat calculating how to get behind a crochet blanket that's on my chair when I used to record stuff in. I tucked the ends in so he wouldn't be able to, but he just managed. And is it cold in here? Nope. It's a solid 20 degrees Celsius, which I don't do in Fahrenheit. If you want to know, Google is your friend. Yeah. Yarn I used. Some yarn I got from the foundation of my Uncle Full Fingerless Mittens. I held it double because it wasn't thick enough. Just need some thick yarn, and I don't have that because I don't work with that. The brown yarn, which I still need to cut off a little floof, was for my stash. The beige was for my stash. The colored yarn for both the feathers and the braid, which ends around there. More leftovers from toothpaste. My mittens from last month. So use that up. I have like this much left, which is fine. I don't do scraps. I use it all, one way or another. So yeah, made this. It's fun. It took me not even a day. Started it in the morning, finished it in the evening. And while I was just sitting talking to my mom. It's fine. It is fun. Yeah, like that. If I do start doing markets because of all the repeat stuff I'm making at the moment, I might just have to wear this just to show off I do handcrafted things. Which, let's be honest, it would be totally me to just wear stuff like that randomly, but hey. I don't remember how much you thought of the fingerless mittens last time we talked, but yeah. I think I started making them for my uncle's foundation. We will talk about this one later. We will also talk about this one later. You didn't see anything. And this, actually. So, fingerless mitten. There were 3 sizes in the pattern. Free pattern on Ravelry. We'll link that link down below. I need to slow my brain down. God. We're having tea today. It's a tea day. Which I got some great tea at a tea factory actually, so we're doing that. What the heck was my camera doing? I'm not sure. Or 3 sizes in the pattern: child, women, men. And that just didn't cut it. So I made the men. I asked my brother, hey, can you, no, well, my father actually in the first instance, can you try this on for me? My dad is a construction worker. He has big hands. And now when I say big, this is big, like wide big. Not just tall big, but wide big. Can you try this on? So let me find a men's size. This is the men's size. I made that. Yeah. So I asked my dad, can you try this on for me? And I don't have very big hands, just so for reference. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, give it to me. So I finished one, gave it to him, and he was like, there. Okay. Yeah. Well, my brother's a little bit smaller than my dad is. He has more length to his hands than just the width, but he still has big hands because he's a man, right? So my brother came home from his job. He has an office job, typing, so not as much hammers to the hands. Didn't get flattened out. But I asked my brother, can you try this on for me? And he was like, why? Because I'm making this for someone and I need to find out if it fits a man. I'm not a man. And he was like, really? Really? I didn't know you weren't a man. Had his joke pants on apparently. So I had to wait till at least he had one coffee. Which makes sense, right? And brother tried it on and he was like, and he cut that there. Yeah. So that was my brother. I fit them, don't worry. I fit them and I have space left. I fit them, right? Because I don't have big hands. So both my dad and my brother did not fit in the men's size. So fun times. Now I don't have the women's size in here, but okay. This was the child size. So I made that as well. And mind you, I am not a child. I have small hands, but I am not a child, right? So figured this is more like a petite women or a teenager size. There we go. I can still have full movement of my hands, my thumb. It reaches all the way down. This is not a child's size. Did I make cage? I have no idea, but on the first one I did. So I'm gonna assume with the other ones I did as well. Yeah. So, child size. Men's size. you've seen the women's size last month. And I fit into those fine. So there were 3 sizes, and it just didn't cut it at all. I'm gonna pick up my box again because they have the wrong box. Because I need to take them to the lady I'm making them for, right? So yeah, I added some sizes to pattern. Wasn't that difficult? Just need to figure out proportions, because the proportions on the child might be a little off at now. Because lengthwise and stuff, I just did a repeat of the pattern, so we might need to find a child to check. I don't have a child, but I know they have running around. So I made it bigger, and once again I took it to my dad and I was like, can you try this on for me? And my dad was like, yeah, give it to me. My dad isn't that difficult. And he was like, and then he had like his pinky folded. He couldn't move. Like I have a lot of space left on this, right? And they're all the same color, same yarn, so it wasn't a gauge thing with these. Like I have space left, but Dad couldn't move. So I went to my brother, and all the stitches were like stretching on themselves. I forgot to turn off my internet again. So I went to my brother. I was like, I made it bigger. Can you try it? And he was like, fine, give it to me. So he tried it on. It was perfect. So I had a man's size that worked, but that couldn't so fixed it. And someone who said, well, I'd love them for my husband, also mentioned, well, my husband has very big hands. A very big hand isn't really a measurement sizing thing, right? So you need to take educated guesses. My dad still couldn't fit in these, so I took the guess that maybe this man's hands were also larger than that. So the goal was to make a pair that also fit Dad. So I did that. And that fit these. No stretching of the stitches, no trying to squeeze in like that. He can just put his hand in, put his thumb in, and slide in like this. No. On him it is way tighter than on me. But he has the space, he can move, it stretches nicely, and it will constrict back. And that was the goal. You can see I have a lot of space left. So yeah, Dad has one that fits. I'm gonna assume the husband of this lady has big man hands and might fit in this as well. Does not. I can make a larger one, but do I want to make it XXX? I'm not sure, because proportion wise, if it goes up in length as well, like I said, brother has more length than width to his hands. Dad has more just width to his hands. And I worked in healthcare, and I know that the older generation who did a lot of manual work have bigger hands. They're not giants per definition on the uppies, but they have big hands. And I say big because I worked with someone who couldn't get his hand into a washcloth. He could get, 3 fingers in there, and that was about it. That was how big his hands were. But the man was just about like a head or a head and a half longer than I am. He wasn't an especially tall person. No, this was years and years and years ago. And that man has since passed. The farm he was living on got still toothpaste. Yeah, got sold. It got demolished. They're now building houses there again, right? Like I was in my very very if that early 20s. I might still have been in my teens. And I worked as a home care provider. So how was I allowed to do that? Well, I went to I think you call it a vocational school, where you get out of high school. It's not the same here, right? And you learn a trade. So I went out of high school with 17, because because I was held back when I was smaller, when I was not even 10. So I went there with 17, most do with 16, and then you can have a pick. You have 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years, and depending on that, on what you learn there, you can work in your field, right? So I was doing a 3-year course, but after the first year I had actually got a diploma for anything that you would learn during the first year, which would mean I finished the 1-year course, right? Well, not technically that. It's 2 years studying, and then you get, at my level, you did it in 1. And then when you did the full 3, you didn't get any further qualifications. So, and if you went to a 4, you would get, at some point, after 1 year, you would also have the first 2, and then when you graduated, you had the 3 and the 4. So, which would basically make you a nurse. And I was allowed to do small tasks, which is really off course. And I realized there's a side street here. So I might have been 19. That's the bottom line. I was allowed to do small things like helping people shower, getting them dressed, put on stockings. They gave the employer at the time gave me a course, so I was allowed to give medication. Now, I had already followed courses at my school to learn about medication, administering medications. Was I allowed to stick needles in people? I was not. Plain and simple. At that level, you are not allowed to play with needles. Yeah, on yourself if you really want to, but no. So I was allowed to stick myself with medications. I was not allowed to administer them to others because there is liability there, right? So I was allowed to give orally meds, inhalation, suppositories, nose, ear, eyes, stuff like that. So I came to this man's house just to help him with his day-to-day activities, make him breakfast, get him a little cleaned up, cause yeah. But I was do that, and we had some great convos. I love that man. I didn't get there often because he was way out of the routes, and usually someone with a car would go there, and as you know, I don't drive. So I did that on a bike, which is very Dutch, right? Getting your home care delivered on a bike, which was fun. So I know he would have maybe fit in those because they stretch. So I'm hoping the hands won't be that big because it's a different generation, and as time progressed, yeah, of course you got some technological advances. So we'll see. I still need to bring him to them. We'll see. And I need to make a medium as well because yeah, I added sizes. So this is the XXL, XL, L, which is an original men's. Then we don't have an M, which is a women's, and we have an S, which is a child's. So yeah, I also made a child, and let's be honest, this looks more like a child, right? Oops, my tags went. I cut this little square thingies just to put some sizes on there, and just I tied them together with something I cut off, right? Now, the only thing about these is this part might be too long. Like I said, I don't have a child. I can't test this on anyone. Doubt this school would enjoy it if I would stand on a corner going to like, psst, psst, you want to try my gloves? Hey, hey. I would be arrested in no time, but yeah. Like I said, my brain is all there. Yeah. This might be a little long. I can still take it out and make it a little bit shorter. Not as much on this end, but I can always remake if need be. Yeah, so way down there you can see it is smaller than my hand at this point, so I think this would be a child. For size reference, and these are other colors to specify the smaller sizes. So I have 3 for the menfolk. Okay. You have big hands, you can wear those. If you have smaller hands, you wear collars. Just for my own reference at this point, so I know which is which. So yeah, it is significantly smaller. I have more of this yarn. I will make another medium to add to the pile. I have 6 done, and I can make some more. Great, right? That's what I thought. So on the fingerless mitten journey, that is actually it right now. I'm still making them. I am slowing down on them, which is a good thing, because the hyperfocus was ridiculous, and I realized that, and that's what made it even worse. I still enjoy the pattern. It's a nice mind of just go. I can do it in the back of the car. I can do it in the front of the car. I can do it watching TV. So I am good. I enjoy it. Why would I stop? Right? I do realize it will get repetitive to show them every month. So at some point we might just do a fingerless mitten counter, right? Just put a counter there. I made fingerless mitten. I made this much. And then I would have to figure out how to put the letters there. Which might be a learning experience, because I don't edit. You're getting the full experience here. I like this mug. I like owls in particular. But the tea just doesn't stay warm. You need to just guzzle it down. Otherwise you have cold tea, and I like my tea hot. But yeah, let's keep going, because we're already 20 minutes in. Because I do side roads today, apparently. From stash, I made, because I'm contemplating doing markets. And I was trying to figure out if I could make enough to do a fall or Halloween market, which I didn't. So maybe next year. I have some people encouraging me, which helps. So yeah, I made some earwarmers. There you go. Which was fun. Didn't use a pattern for this. I made some a long time ago. Crocheting. For when I was wearing my wool locks. To cover my ears, because my head wouldn't fit on the locks. And I used that basic idea. Just do a strip and then tie it up. And it worked, so can't complain about that. It is so stretchy though. Like, and this is one of the big differences between knit and crochet. Knit does the stretch thing way better. So yeah, enjoyed these. These are just yarn from stash, from something I got from a person, I think, is there's no label on there. They were rewound balls, like how you make them by hand. They were crinkly, so at some point they were someone's project. It might have been something, I have no idea, but yeah. I'm making something, and I'm making multiples, so because I have a lot of the yarn, I don't have enough to make myself a sweater. I'm trying to build up some stock, right? If I can. If I can keep the confidence going, I will. Because I doubt myself about my projects quite often. Like, is this good enough? Is this fun? For me, it ain't an issue. I like everything and anything. For somebody else, to make something for somebody else, it's difficult. Now, you've seen me make stuff for my friend all the time. Because we have the agreement, if she doesn't like it, I will get it back. And if I give her a sweater or something and she feels like she ain't gonna wear it, I'll get it back. And I can wear it, because we're built differently, but we wear the same size, so... Which basically means she likes to drown in her clothes and I don't mind a little form-fitting. Yeah. Making stuff for other people is hard. So unless they ask me, or I'm certain they will like it. I won't make stuff for other people. It's hard. So to get over this threshold to actually start doing market prep, as you would, I guess it would be called, it's a thing. So we're calling it growth. So I have some more finished objects, which are tiny. Now I have a texture issue with certain yarns, like some of the older velvet yarns. They give me the absolute heebie-jeebies. And I was in a store and I touched some and I wasn't grossed out that I was gagging inside the store. So I bought some. It wasn't the most inexpensive yarn to buy for something that might work, might not work. I'm trying to figure out how many I can make with one of these, because like I said, it wasn't the most cheap yarn. And if I use that for market prep, I need a couple out of this to make it worth it. Which is a new concept, because I just, yeah, used to mean it isn't that bad, but it's still but I enjoy working with this. It doesn't shed, it doesn't fluff, it doesn't curl, it doesn't get tangled, so it's fine. Just on the hands, it's an issue with me holding it. I have texture issues with some things, like, no. I have it with certain types of coats as well. And now they sell couches in that fabric. Yeah. No. But yeah, I'm making scrunchies. It's not like I have enough hair to actually use them, but hey, micro. Because I'm still losing hair from meds, and my hair is starting to fuzz. So the hair might stay, the hair might go. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I'm making scrunchies. And this one is a little bit scrunchier. Yeah, you need to practice, right? Using Passionate Kelsey's scrunchie tutorial for this one. Made 2 in like an hour and a half. That's fine. It was the first time. If you get a hang of it, it might go faster. So yeah, 2 of those, and I still have a lot of the yarn left, so I might get another 2, I might get 1, I might, you know, we'll see. It's a good experiment. If I get enough out of them, I will buy them in more colors, actually, because they have more colors. And yeah, I just need like a tube thing I can just display them on like that. I just need to figure out, might use some rain pipe or something, paint that. I think Dad still has some from a project, because I was looking for a specific width for another project for Halloween. So, and I didn't use it. He still hasn't, so I can ask him for it. We're moving on to the project I built from hibernation. So let me move some stuff around. Let me have everything fall, and also let me check if my needles are still in, because I might have pulled something. Now, you've seen this way back, like last year around this time. Yeah. It's a counting thing. At some point, I wasn't able to focus on the counting anymore. And I'm not sure if I can now, because last night I had to do 2 rows of backwards knitting, because I miscounted 1 stitch at the beginning of a repeat. At the beginning of a row. And I noticed it when I had done the purl row and was about to knit the second repeat row. So yeah. For those not familiar with this pattern, this is Kyler. And Kyler has this lovely, it isn't blocked, so it's not opened up yet. Kyler has this lovely lace pattern with a built-in edge stitch, and It is by Isabel Kramer, if I believe. This is one of the patterns I bought when I got back into knitting. So it will have been 2019, 2020, around that time. Started it with this great red yarn that is now my Python Rhodes, actually. No, but in that same color. I think it was Wheel of Yarn. Somewhere down the line I put it to the side, forgot where it was, couldn't figure it out, made a mistake, forked the thing, and was like, I will get back to that when I get back to it. So last year, around April, I want to say, I went to the local yarn store with my parents, because, well, it's a store that closed. I could drive there in my mobility scooter, but it took me over an hour just to get there, and then over an hour to get back just to buy some yarn. Because I'm not the type to just sit and knit in a yarn store. I would love to, but my anxiety, let's call it that, my anxiety won't allow me. Yeah, so I got one, I believe, one bowl of DMC pirouettes, and I can show you this despite just getting one bowl, because yeah, I got another one. And I started this, and I was working on it, and I was like, well, this thing is gonna be huge. Looking at it, it had a width of like 2.5 meters. Yeah. Not sure what that is in feet, but I think it's like 6 feet something. Might be longer, like 2 meters. Google. So I cast it back on again, lost count, frocked it back, started it for a third time. Got to, let me check, around there. And then the weather changed, I put it back into a cupboard and didn't look at it, so yeah, that much. I picked it up earlier this week, started knitting on it again. Well, I picked it up 2 days ago. I shouldn't lie. I picked it up and I was like, well, let me figure out where I stopped on the lace. Because I stopped in the middle of a repeat, which I shouldn't do. I shouldn't, but yeah, I picked it back up. In October last year, my friend went to the yarn store with me because it was closing. Now, I have one more local yarn store with some iffy opening times. So sometimes it says, we're open, and you get there and like, sorry, we're closed. Which wouldn't be a disaster if you live really close, but if you travel for it like I do, I don't live in the city specifically. I am just outside of its borders. And I have a disability, so it's not like I can just up and go. And I have to drive with my mobility scooter. Rain, sun, doesn't matter. No roof, right? If I drive to your store and I'm just one way, it's 30 minutes, right? And I get there and you're closed, and that's the only reason why I am going to your store, I'm miffed. Like, yeah, no. Like, and it's a cozy store, it looks fun, and like I said, I'm not the type to sit in it within a store. I would love to try a knit cafe sometimes, but it's scary. Yeah, so she took me back in the car to the store that was closing, and I got another bowl so I could finish my scarf, and I'm hoping I can finish it on too. I'm still having doubts, but we'll see. If not, I found a store that sells the MC again, so maybe she'll have it. We'll see. I'm just gonna finish this because, yeah, not adding to stash if I don't need to. Let's get into specifics. I am using a 5mm hook, needle, so hook. There we go, 5. No idea what's that in the US. Again, Google is your friend, or Alexa. Just ask. I finished the lace bit around this marker last night, and or Saturday actually, and I have started the lace stockinette combo. Now I need to repeat this until I have a top metric of stitches, which I'm sure my wire won't be long enough for, but meh. And then do the ribbing. From what I saw, it's gonna take me forever. I'm hoping I can wear this winter, because it is gonna be so cozy. And I'm really enjoying the colors, so fingers crossed. There, let me put that on the floor. Next is baby sock. Yeah, you might recognize this yarn because it's my leftover yarn for my cottagecore crop top. Yeah, and I have no idea why I'm making baby socks. I just really enjoy the pattern, I think. The small projects. I think it's just the small projects. I'm gonna rip this back because that right there, like that thingy, is annoying. It's annoying. And I'm not sure why. It might be that I didn't pull it properly. Yeah, I'm not enjoying that, so I might rip it back. Unless I can just block it out a little, then I'll do that. But I'm guessing I did the cast on wrong. So yeah, like this is so tiny my nose could fit in there. Not working on this a lot because, like I said, that is pissing me off. So I will fork this and restart, and we can see it again, right? I did baby sock before. I made some for my nephew, so should be fine, you think. Using 2.5 millimeter needles, just a regular sock thing. I would love to try them on my carbons, but my midnight socks are still on there from, well, just night socks actually, but the yarn is called night, so I call them night socks. From Spin Godin. And the tea is already lukewarm. Yummy. Yeah. I'm covered in hairs because the reindeer I have on the back of my chair sheds like a lot. So. And the next one is a poncho, which I'm making for my mom. So more of my mom's stash made it to me. My brother and I bought her a Persian Tiles crochet packet, yarn included. It was by Scheepjes, and it wasn't her thing. She got cataracts, couldn't see it, so it got back in the box, went upstairs, and at some point my mom stopped crocheting. So a lot of her stash went to me. She kept some small stuff in case she had the inclination to do something. Mostly cottons and everything. Anything she didn't like came to my house. She kept the Persian Tiles. And I was just digging through a stash looking for, well, there are book stash, that is, because she kept all the books as well. And I have a lot of books, so it's, yeah. You can hear the noises. The shop downstairs is having their bins cleared. I already wait until the first of the month alarm thing is passed, so can't wait much longer because we'll lose a day. So I pulled this book, which basically says shawls, omslagdoeken. From her stashes, and I was just paging through it, and I showed her this one, and she was like, well, can you make that for me? And I was like, sure. And she was like, I have yarn for that actually, let me get that. So I'm trying. So we're using the Scheepjes to make her poncho. Now, Scheepjes isn't a very thick yarn. And once again, this needs a big needle. This requires a 6mm needle, which means I can work on this for short periods of time because it's a 6. My hands hurt after a couple of rows. Let me show you. I started with it marled, so I would use another color in the ribbing. I did not enjoy that, so I ripped it back. This is Scheepjes Supercrafter Tomato, I think, and the other one I don't know, but it's pretty, it's yellow. So I am holding the yarn double. I am holding it here double as well, just using the end and the beginning of a cake, because I caked them up after Mom and I ripped out the sweater she was making with that. So yeah, it is 142 stitches, so my needles are technically way too short. My 2 needles are too short. It is worked flat entirely from what I saw. Maybe color isn't. I haven't gotten to that part. I don't read on in the pattern. I'm using some needles I inherited from, I think, my late aunt's mother-in-law. So yeah, I'm working on this when I can. I need to go up 37 something centimeters and then switch colors for the 2 blocks that you saw on the picture. I'm not sure when I'm gonna finish it. I hope this winter so Mom can wear it. I also hope Mom doesn't lose weight too quickly because she will drown in it. But yeah, I have a bag of Scheepjes now in my house. That will be my mother's poncho. And if it's too big, I might wear it, so it's fine. Yeah. Let me put that back in the box. And then we have hat, because winter's coming. Ooh, that sounded like Game of Thrones, actually. But yeah, winter. It's November, so winter. So, ribbing, hat. Once again, this is an experiment to see if I can make a hat out of one of these. Because if I need 2, it's not worth it, because this would be part of the market prep. It's just chunky. This is a 8mm. As you can see, I've gotten really far. I've been on this for 2 weeks. So yeah, nailing it. I don't enjoy the big ones. I really don't. Oh God. No, I've been on it for 3 weeks. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, but yeah. I'm trying to make a hat. It is Passionate Kelsey's ribbed hat pattern. Not sure if I'm gonna do the crown decreases as she does, but we'll see. It's some yarn from Stash. I don't know what it is. It's probably acrylic, but don't ask me for the band. I have no idea. So yeah. Last cast on, I promise. And then we have some, and then technically it's new yarn as well. So I just lost the label because I opened this in a car. Well, technically in a restaurant, but during a road trip. So my friend was here. My bestie was here last week from, not even last week, the week before that. So from the 25th something, the Thursday before the weekend of the 27th or 26th. And before that I saw a yarn store, not as local, but in my uncle's town where I am a lot for this where I spent the karaoke nights and stuff. And she had yarn from DMC for $150 a ball. So but there were no trains. The train wasn't running, so I couldn't get there. So I looked at my friend and was like, take me to the yarn store. And she was like, sure, we're going to the yarn store. So she drove there. And I got this yarn. Oh, It was a ball, I promise. It's now cake. Because I got halfway through the pattern and realized I didn't like it that chunky. Because it was a 5.5 millimeter needle. And there were holes in my cables, which I 100% didn't like. So I went down. So I'm now doing... and this is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's their antique toque and antler toque. That was it. So yeah, I ripped it back, started. It's smaller now. I would say this is a teenager size because it does not fit. Well, it does, but it takes some effort. So yeah. Someone with a smaller head than I am. Maybe after blocking, we'll see. Yeah, it will stretch. Maybe it's just my needles in there. We'll see. Ripped it back, went back, did a 3.75 ribbing, and switched to a 4 for the cabling. So I need to do some more repeats and then decrease. Memory serves. This is a free pattern from Tin Can Knits, so fun, and I'm enjoying this. We were, I was still working on the fingerless mittens by then, so we did our scare acting job Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we went out for lunch with our other friend at the tea factory. So I was in the back of the car being car sick. They were in the front of the car talking, navigating. So I did some knitting. I was already finished the mittens on the way. And then at the restaurant I casted on the hat. So yeah, this is going way faster than the big needles for me, because I enjoy it more. I enjoy the product more. I enjoy the process more. It doesn't hurt on my hands as much. Because let's face it, I am above 35. And I've been knitting a long time. Okay, I picked it back up, but I've been knitting a long time. So I'm hoping to finish this hat this month and then see what next year. It'll be fun. Yeah, I'm having fun with this. It's in my purse. And I'm now doing a writing challenge, so when I can't figure stuff out, I will knit a row while I mull about and reread things, and it's fine. I'm in no hurry. I'm not making the markets this year anyway. Maybe next year. We'll see. And then I have till April, I think, before festivals really kick off. It should give me some time to do stuff. So yeah. So my friend, because I'm done with all the project at this point, my friend took me. Let's put that away before I chuck it. It's on the side of the chair. Okay. Side of the chair. I don't know about Derek. Oh, I know what that is. Pattern notes. So let me just scooch over like that. Then I'm centered again. I keep a lot of notions there because I sit here. So my friend took me to the yarn store, but she also, before we went there, took me to a thrift store because we needed some random bits and bobs to make an alien weapon. You know, in those movies you see this, especially in Mars Attacks, you actually see these aliens pushing through a corridor a very big weapon, and they're just pushing it up onto grandma. And in our brain we needed something that was portable, so I had this ring light thing that wasn't working anymore. You could put your phone in there as well with a clip, and we had a wheelchair arranged at our spot, so we were like, well, we can put that on and then attach stuff to the thing, and just the idea always works better, and then actually the thing itself. So it was too heavy. It went like merp, merp. it happens, right? We put some lights in there as well. Just it looked it looked fun though. It was fine. If you're on my Instagram, you can see it there because I shared the pictures. But yeah, she took me to the thrift store and I found some yarn. I also talked to an old coworker from the thrift store I was working at a while back. So we found this Scheepjes Birdie. Scheepjes Birdie. It is 100 grams, 50 meters, and you need a size 8 hook or needle. Which I might hate myself at this point. I might just. Anyways, it is a loopy yarn. There you go. And then there's nothing, and then there's some more loopies. Yeah. It was 75 cents, so I figured I could make a small cardi with this without sleeves, just a throw over. They call it a vest, I think you call it. Because I don't think I have them all here. I do have them all here. I have 6 of these. So, yeah, I will make something with that. Let me put them on the floor. Because I need more from that bag, actually, to show you. I have some more discounted yarn as well there. So I'm going to grab that first, and then we're going to go into the DMC that we had to try for. Because this one I got on myself from a discount store because I like the colors. And you might see a theme. So those from the Netherlands will recognize these yarns because, yeah. This is Ella. This is 100% acrylic from a discount store near me. Only if you're in the Netherlands, probably near anyone. And they have several colors, which I really love. I like this one. Also like the green, but you can see I'm going through greens right now. And then we have more Ella, more compacted style. I have a 4th one. It's on my desk. I'm not gonna grab that because, yeah, it's pretty much same thing, different color. You will see it later. And these are 97% acrylic, 3% viscose. At 253 meters per 100 grams. And this is 100 grams. So I think it would make a good neutral sweater. But yeah, I wanna check it out first. So let's see if I can find a color on it. $210 green. And this will have the same specs, and this is purple. And then we have okay, 210 green. Did I? Nope. It says some numbers are behind. It's 5. This one is 5595, and this is 2000. Okay, good to know. But yeah, can you imagine that one as a sweater? I think it will be great. This might be a little, I like bright colors, but this might be a little too much as a sweater. And this would look better as a scarf. Yeah. I shouldn't be adding to stash. I'm really being really honest about that one. I need to decrease the stash. So starting in January, I might need to go on a full yarn ban. Okay, impulse control, right? So, friend and I went to the yarn store in my uncle's city. So my head yarn came from there, and I also got these and some other stuff. But first, we're starting with the smallest, right? And this is DMC Brio. So remember that was Pirate. This is Brio. And this is their shade 405. They're asking for a 4mm hook and needle, UK 8, USA 6 knitting needle, or a F-5 crochet hook. And this is labeled as a DK Light. I have no idea what that is, but for the Americans. I do this and then I'm like, well, I can use that. This is around 100 grams, which equals to 345 meters or 377 yards. It is 80% acrylics and 20% wool. Now, specs are the same on this one, but this is the color 404. Just putting them in your face. And the last one I have in this one is 422. Boop. There you go. Look at them looking pretty. So there were 4. I also had that one. And they smell like wool. For just being 20%, yeah, you can smell it on them, on the yarn. And I'm someone, I will smell yarn. So next we got a label escaping. DMC Merino Essential Ombre. And I got 2 of these. Boop. And this is Aran weight 4. They're asking for 5.5 millimeters needle, knitting needle, UK 5, USA 9, 6 millimeter crochet hook, UK 4 or USA J-10. This is shade 1002. It is 150 grams, which equals to 285 meters or 311 yards. So I have 2 of these, which equals something without sleeves or scarf. Hat combo maybe. We'll see. But I think with the color change, you need to use it as a whole. Yeah. So 2 of these. And still 150 a ball. So for anyone keeping tabs, that was 6 balls at this point. And then we have this one. And I have 4 of these, which might not be the smartest idea to try and stack, but I will try. Because why not, right? Can't break this. 3. And 4. Nope. 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 There you go. And it's the nice minty color. Specs are the same. This is the color. Also escaping label. 1006. Did I check dye lots? I did not, because me. I should though, right? And they're all the same dye lot up to now, so yeah, it's fine. I have 4 of these, which equals a sweater or cardigan, which is a little light for me, but that's fine. Sometimes she needs a little bit of wear. Some light color, right? Let me put some stuff back. And we'll talk about plans, if you're still up for it. And I can finish my awesome cold tea. Yay! So I bought the tea at the Tea Factory. And it has black tea and vanilla in there. And as long as you don't leave the tea bag in there for too long, it's not a bitter kind of tea. Sometimes teas when you have the baggie in too long, and in this case it's not a baggie because it's tea leaves, tea will get this kind of bitter taste, which nobody enjoys, right? So yeah, this one is all good fun. Putting that back in its designated spot. I have projects all around the house. All around my house, the projects are growing. If you know that song, you're ancient. And it's not an official song, so if you know which song I'm referencing, you're ancient. Or just a really good listener to your parents. Because that's a song from my parents' youth. So yeah, just I'm putting yarn in a box again, so it won't be loose on the floor. There we go. Pick up some projects here. My my humongous tumbler, and it's not getting any better. So that can be back here, and this needs to go in my purse. There we go. Put it there for now, and then I can go back into my purse. There. Oh, did you see the plant I'm trying to rescue there? My cat jumped into it and broke all of it off, so I'm trying to see if it will get some more root. I'm hoping it will. So that plant has actually been with me since I was like 15 or 16. So yeah, and that one I rescued off the street. I do that sometimes. The little thing you can see here, I rescued that off the street as well, but that's not doing too well. I have 2 more of those, and one of them cloned itself. It's very happy. The other one is doing okay-ish, but I'm not sure if it's gonna make it. And I recently saved a ficus from the street as well. My parents have someone in their neighborhood who just chucks plants out on the street, and if they look okay, I will bring them home. So yeah, bad habits, right? Let's talk plants. This month I'm doing unofficially, because I don't like their idea that AI counts as writing, National Novel Writing Month. 50,000 words in a month, so my time split a little. For those not knowing, AI writes for you. You pitch the idea and it does the work. It does not count as you writing. Might sound a little severe, but no, you don't put on the hours, you don't put on the meter. So I don't know why they feel from out of the organization that it does count. It does not. So I am not participating officially because I do not agree with that value. I am participating in Pathfinder. Oh, if you've been on Instagram, you've seen it. If not, go look it up if you're a writer. It's a good Discord. I am mostly a silent follower, but it's fine. I am writing. Unofficially, I am not actively on the Discord. I just do my own thing. I don't tend to make 50,000 words in a month, and that's fine. I'm just enjoying the process at this point because I am having fun in my writing again. I am getting feedback here and there, so I can't complain. Does mean that I have less time going into my knitting, which isn't a bad thing per se. I still do rows. So the plan is finishing the cabled hat, ripping back the baby sock, or finishing it, either or. Keep going on Kyler. I want to spin another bobbin on my spinning wheel. I am nearly done with tech bobbins, so then I can start plying. I bought 2 more spinning wheels, of which one I have working at this point. The other one is working, but it is a little too eager with eating stuff. So we're working on that. And I forgot to show you my friend's head. We will do that at the end, actually, because she made a head. Well, she was here. Yeah, just finish some stuff. I'm hoping I can take the fingerless mittens to the lady I'm making them for. I need to add a size medium to that collection as well, which I will do. And yeah, other than that, no plans really. Friend finally tried on our sock, it fits, so I can make a second one. Yeah, just looking through the yarn, seeing that I can keep some organization into this stuff, because it's everywhere at this point, and if it gets any worse, I might drown in yarn. So if you didn't see me next month, I died drowning in yarn. Yeah, I'm gonna do some small projects. Try not to cast on too much, which sounds like a good plan, because I've casted on all the things this month. But yeah, let's just finish some stuff for November and December probably, because it will get colder. I don't want to go out in the cold. What more? I applied as a volunteer for the Dickens Festival near my uncle's house. Not sure how that's gonna go. They sent me an email back that they were gonna keep me updated, so we'll see. I hope they do give me enough time to prep and stuff. A friend of mine also applied, so I won't be alone, which is a plus. But it's the end of December, so we can talk about that next month on progress, and in January how it went. Like, other than that, I have nothing more for you, I think. So if you get it this far, let me show you my friend's head, and then also tell me what you're working on. What are your plans? What is your big side road you took recently? So my friend doesn't knit, but hey, she made a head on the center row, which looks good for a first one, right? So I casted it on the central for her, told her do that many rows, then we cast off. So we casted it off, I showed her how to, oh, that's the slouchy, and then how to close it up, with the intent of now embroider something on there. We'll see if I get to that, because that would be my job. Like I said, she does not knit. She does not embroider either. She does not, well, I taught her how to crochet. She does not remember how to crochet. But yeah, she made a hat on the center. And we'll see how that one turns out. For now, it's on my foam head, which I got back after it got, well, it did its job as a stand for a mask. It had to get spray painted, airbrush actually term. So yeah, and I still have my old fish tank here. Trying to think of something to do with that. I am gonna clean it, and I might turn it into a naturalistic hamster enclosure. The only downside to that thought is my mom feels like my ginger cat might do its best to have himself a little snack, which I think would be a very difficult thing for him to do, but we'll see. If not, I'm gonna have not add the hamster, and just have a, what do you call it, terrarium, just for plants or something. I'm not that worried about it. I just need to clean it, because it's been in my house for 12 years. It came here with me when I got my own place, so yeah, it'll be fine. I just need to take some time and do it, actually. I think that's it. Well, I've been talking for an hour, so whoops. It happens, right? Sometimes you have nothing to tell, and other times you're word vomiting. So yeah, I still have to write like 1600, that many words. I have a goal in my head I want to reach today. So I try to keep up with the word count from National Love and Writing Month, NaNoWriMo. But in this instance, I know I'm gonna be away for a day, so I want to do some extra words so I can skip one. Sounds like a plan, right? So I don't need to play catch up because I suck at that. If I lag behind, which I usually do at some point, I will just give up. For the past that many years, I will just say, "Of this, I'm out," and I'm enjoying the storyline. So I'm trying to write chronologically, which is a new thing for me. Usually I just jump scene and then try to fill in the blanks later. Okay, so rambling again. If you're interested in following how this writing story goes, check me out on Instagram. It is Jeopardize with an H after the J. I post in my stories an update daily on how I'm doing. I might do some bigger stuff once I reach some crucial points in the plot. But yeah, other than that, I also post knitting stuff. I post costuming stuff. I just post anything and everything that involves my life there. So if you're interested in seeing more of me, I'll see you there. I'm also looking for some new friends on Ravelry, so hit me up. It's Bianca SCH. Krupia. I can also do a Joey on you. How you doing? So let me know. I will talk to everybody when it comes, if it comes. And yeah, first one is rest of December. We're getting ready for Christmas. Have a good one, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.